we were just beaten to the post for the title in our first season at Molde in the Norwegian Premier Division. But we did well to finish second, seeing as the team was struggling when we took over mid-season. This season, it's all about strengthening what we've already got and going for that title. Time to remold Molde. So let's look at some transfers. Lots of players left, far too many to go through individually, but big names like Mubiamba, Camo, Ramadani and Van Ruij all left to generate funds to free up wage budget as we made our move. Let's meet the new signings. Jasper Thorkildsen was the first through the door. He's a quality keeper who will likely be our number one between the sticks this season. He joins us for 650,000 from Marseille. Centre-back Stian Rode Gregersen joins for 6.25 million from Atlanta United in the USA. He's a former Molde player and looks to be a quality defender. Rafik Zeknini is quick and he can dribble. He can play on the left, the right or up top. We signed him from Norwegian Premier Division rivals Vålerenga for 3.4 million. Ulrik Jettegard Jensen is a decent centre-back option. He joins us for 875k from Tromsø. Hard-working ball-winning midfielder Henrik Bjordal has all the attributes in all the right places. He joins us from Vålerenga for 3.4 million. Deep line playmaker Sakaris Opsal is a good passer of the ball. He arrives from Tromsø for 2.1 million. Bryce Wembangomo is an explosive wing-back. He actually caught my eye when he gave us a real problem last season when he was playing against us. He's my sort of wing-back, and he joins for 5.25 million. Ole Didrik Blomberg can happily play anywhere down the right-hand side. He's decently quick and well-rounded. He joins us for 3.6 million from reigning champions Brann. Alexander Andersen can play in a variety of positions, but will likely be a solid left-back option for us. We brought him back to Norway from Feyenoord for 3.8 million. Lasse Berg Jonsson's another defensive midfielder of decent quality. He joins from Malmo for 3.2 million. Experienced centre-back Sigurd Rosted joins us for free, having last played for Toronto FC. He'll provide backup at centre-back for us. Per Christian Bratveit will be a good backup keeper for us this season. A bargain at 155k from Heerenveen. Egbert Howell's an 18-year-old Dutch left winger who's already first-team ready. I can't believe he only cost us 2.5 million from Vitesse. Italian Luca Morro's a good quality striker who should partner Odegaard this season. He joins us for 3 million. Another Italian joins us. This time it's Matteo Pessina. He looks to be real quality and could be a difference maker in midfield this season. He joins us on a free after last playing for Al Ittihad. And finally, Big Ned Ford joins us on loan from Southampton for the season. The Australian centre-back is 6'7" and will provide strong competition at the back for us. It's certainly a very big squad overhaul, but we have got a lot more quality and depth now. And now we only have 5 non-homegrown players, which was an issue we needed to address last season because that was way off balance. We can have as many as 9, which means we've got some wiggle room if we identify a non-homegrown player that we want. Looking at the season preview, we're favourites to win the league this season, and we've got 7 players in the media Dream 11. Let's do this. We kick off our Norwegian Premier Division campaign against KFUM Oslo. Things got off to a bright start when Blomberg's cross was headed on by Odegaard for Howell to score a debut goal. Morrow then played in Odegaard, who scored with a sublime finish to make it 2. Howell then broke forward and pulled it back for midfielder Berg Jonsson to get his debut goal. Odegaard was then on hand to head in Evian's cross to head in our 4th. Pessina then unfortunately missed a penalty, only for the rebound to be picked up by us. It was squared back to Pessina, who scored another debut goal. Another new signing then scored with Rode Gregersen heading in a Howell corner. They bagged a consolation late on, but I'm pleased to say it ended 6-1. I've got a feeling we've got a quality team here for this division. Let's hope for some more like that, please. We then played Bodo /Glimt. Howell broke down the left and provided the assist for Odegaard to open the scoring. Pessina then showed good composure to convert this penalty for a second. Blomberg got our 3rd with an effort from outside the area, a comfortable 3-0 win against one of the division's better sides. We picked up a 6-0 win against Sandefjord and a 4-1 win against Strom Skodset to make April a very good month and an excellent start to the season. Into May now, and first up we've got a game against Haugesund. Wing-back Wenbangomo scored this impressive individual effort for our first. Evgen then poked this one in after being played in by Blomberg. New Italian striker Lucas Morrow was then on hand to pick this one up on the rebound. Wenbangomo crossed in for Evgen to apply a deft finish for our 4th. Herrera then hit a low cross in, which Morrow got on the end of to make it 5-0. Looks like we've definitely got some goals in us this season. Next up, we play Viking. Things got off to a bright start with this excellent goal from Pessina. Howell then did well to force an own goal from Joe Bell for our 2nd. But they got around the back too easily with this goal from Salveson. And then there was another own goal as the ball went in off centre-back Rode Gregersen. Salveson was at it again to totally turn this game around and put them ahead. Gonstad then thumped this one in for their 4th to add to the misery. Luca Morrow then popped up with a goal in the 88th minute to make it 4-3. but Gonstad sealed the victory for Viking in the 93rd minute as he smashed this one in. A 5-3 loss was not what I had in mind for this fixture. Just as well then that we picked up a 5-1 win against Vålerenga, a 2-0 win against Kristiansand, and a huge 7-1 win against Lillestrøm. Meanwhile, we got our Norwegian Cup campaign underway with a 6-0 win against non-league Jolster and a 6-2 win against 2nd Division Moss. Judging by some of these scorelines, we've definitely assembled a team far too good for this division. And the good news keeps coming as we sit top of the league after 8 games on 21 points, 2 points ahead of Viking and Bodo /Glimt. Into June now, and let's give you some cup action, namely the Norwegian Cup 3rd round with a match against Odd. We're going to put our second team out for this game, but let's not forget, Odd were in the Premier Division last season, so it could be a close run thing. We opened the scoring as Carlsbach played in Svensson, who hit an absolute peach of a shot, which went in off the woodwork to get things going. They hit a long ball which allowed Kapskamo to cross for Hartvia Reist to head in to even the tie. They then hit a free kick that we did not deal with well, which allowed Kapskamo to head in to put them ahead. Zeknini hit a powerful effort that rebounded off the woodwork. Luckily Svensson was on hand again to put away the rebound and level the game. Evgen then cut in from the left to score this goal to put us ahead. The Italian connection then linked up as substitute Pessina and Morrow combined to make it 4 in injury time. That was a proper cup game. Back to league competition now, and we actually have a game against reigning Premier Division champions Brann. Let's not forget, they beat us on the last day of last season by 1 single point. I don't want to sound like Kevin Keegan here, but I would love it if we beat them. Not that I'm bitter about it or anything, you know. We got off to a bright start as Blomberg broke down the right and played it to Evgen, who made it 1-0. Evgen is high in confidence and in a rich vein of form at the moment, and he showed it with this sensational goal for our second. Some bloke called Peter then scored this one for them. Seriously, he's just called Peter. What a lad. Wembangomo played a clever ball over the top to Odegaard, who did well to head in our third. Pessina then put away this penalty in a perfectly pleasant manner. Is that enough plosives? Anyway, 4-1 it finished. Take that, Brann. That'll teach you to win the league. June also saw a 3-0 win against Fredrikstad in the league. Hey, never mind Fredrikstad. What about Fredrik's mum, eh? Wahey! We beat Kongsvinger 2-0, and we also beat Brann again, this time 1-0 in the Norwegian Cup 4th round. We're flying high in the league, 7 points clear, with an insane goal difference. We're scoring goals for fun, and I really don't understand how this team were in such a bad way when I got this job. But hey, they're making me look good, so I'm all for it. But I'm afraid it's not all great news, as PSG have come in for one of our players. And you probably guessed it was Nicholas Odegaard, who of course wanted to speak to them. They offered somewhere around 20 million, but I managed to negotiate them up to 30 million. And I'm sure we'll probably sign him again when he inevitably does not get any games there. I acted quickly to line up a replacement for him. I wanted somebody of a similar ilk to Odegaard, and we found Spanish striker Nacho Ferry. He's 6'4", he's got 18 jumping reach, and he looks like he's got some goals in him. We do have to wait until August for him to get here due to the transfer window, so let's see how we get on in July without him. And July does look to be an incredibly busy month for us, with 8 games including Champions League qualifiers. Qualifier? I hardly knew her! I don't know why I'm suddenly doing end of the pier Blackpool comedy, but there we go. I'm sure it'll wear off by next video. So first up, in the league, we play Lynn. Now I am assured that they are a top-flight Premier Division football team, despite having the name of Alan Partridge's assistant. When Bangomo was played in by Howell to open the scoring just before half-time, another Pessina penalty just before the hour mark made it 2 for a comfortable 2-0 win for us. We then played Haugesund in the Norwegian Cup quarter-final. 19-year-old Ruud Ramsley of our second team opened the scoring after just 6 minutes. He was in the right place at the right time for this one. Ruud Ramsley was at it again as he showed his pace before putting away this for his and our second. They scored in the 65th minute thanks to this goal from Aspen, where it ended 2-1 as we booked our place in the semis. And if you're interested, here's a look at Ruud Ramsley. He's got explosive pace and could develop into something good. We may need to give him some more opportunities. Right, so I have to read this. Next up, it's the UEFA Champions League, League Path, second qualifying round, first leg. They seriously need a catchier name for this. And it's not going to be an easy game as we're up against Danish giants FC Midtjylland. We struck first as Pessina played a lovely ball to Howell, who finished well to put us ahead. Blomberg then did ever so well on the right-hand side to find Morrow to double our lead. They hit us on the counter and scored this one to make it 2-1. Howell then found Morrow to make it 3-1 away from home for the first leg. That'll do nicely. So going into the second leg, we'll have home advantage and a 2-goal lead. Fingers crossed. They came out swinging though as they scored this goal after just 7 minutes. Things got nervy just before half-time as they scored again. Gabriel heading in from the corner. Pessina was running things in the middle of the park though, as he played in Howell, who scored to secure the tie for us. And the good news keeps on coming as the board have just offered me a new contract which I've happily signed, which takes me up from 1.8k per week all the way up to 3.5k per week. We also completed a coaching badge, which is good, and we're still dominating in the league, so it looks like Europe may be the more interesting part of the remaining season at this point. So into August, and it's time to welcome 3 new signings to the club. Nacho Ferry joins us, as I previously mentioned, but we also completed the signing of 18-year-old Swedish defender Linus Pettersson. He can play left back or centre back, and he's got a huge upside. We paid 11 million to sign him from Napoli, but they previously signed him from Norwegian lower league team Steinbach. But the reason that's important is because it means he counts as homegrown in nation, which is a plus. We also picked up Arne Cato Rome, a 19-year-old pacey winger. He's got lots of potential. We paid 9 million from him from Porto, and he was previously a Rosenborg prospect. So on to the football now, and August was another 8-game month, 4 Premier Division games, and 4 Champions League games. So first up, it was the next qualifying round for the Champions League, and this time we've been drawn against Austria Vienna. Vienna? I hardly knew her! The game took some time to get going, but we broke the deadlock just before the half-time whistle. Howell playing in Morrow, who hit it first time. New signing Ferry turned well and hit this one to make it 2-0 in the second half. Wembangomo crossed low for Morrow for his second and our third. Blomberg then provided the assist for Ferry. Ferry scored to make it 4-0 on the night. We were the much better team, our finishing was on point, and this tie was enough to see us through. They pushed us much harder in the second leg to a 3-3 draw, but the damage had already been done, and we're safely through to the next round. And in the next qualifying round for the Champions League, we were drawn against Portuguese giants Benfica. Benfica? I hardly knew her! No, but we do need to get serious here, because whoever wins this one goes through to the league stage of the Champions League. So let's focus up. This is going to be tough. They went ahead after 10 minutes after Luvumbo went on a long run to set up Simic to score. We responded just 3 minutes later as Evgen found Pessina in the box to equalise. New striker Nacho Ferry was then on hand to head in a corner to put us ahead. When Bangomo laid it off to Dutch winger Howell for our third, they got in behind again to pull it back to 3-2 after 75 minutes. Big Nacho Ferry then got another headed goal, this time from a Berg Jonsson corner to make it 4-2. What a game that was. We had more shots than them, more corners. Our pass accuracy was better. It was just a brilliant performance by us that puts us in a great position to get through to the league stage. Come on! The next game was going to be at their place in front of 62,000 fans, and according to the data here, we're only bringing 290 away fans with us, so it's going to be a hostile atmosphere. We're going to be up against it here. An uncharacteristic wayward pass back to the keeper from Pessina allowed Luvumbo to pounce and score after just 2 minutes. 2 surprising things happened next. Firstly, Kyle Walker-Peters scored a fantastic goal for them, and secondly, I discovered that Kyle Walker-Peters plays for Benfica in this universe. Looks like he moved from PSG after they rarely used him. Are you listening, Nicholas Odegaard? Thankfully, Evgen stopped their momentum when he popped up with this goal after 14 minutes. They were back at it with the old Sheringham corner just before half-time. A clever pass back from Evgen played in Ferry, who scored to pull one back for us with 62 minutes played. Luvumbo was then on hand to make our defence look like amateur hour again to make it 4-2 to them. Which means it's extra time. It was a cagey affair now, with tired legs out there, but Ferry saw an opportunity and he took it after 113 minutes played. And then Ferry couldn't believe his luck as the ball fell to him in injury time for the easiest goal he'll ever score to equalise. 4-4 on the night. What a game. And as I mentioned, that means we qualify for the league phase. The fixtures are quite interesting as we play a nice variety of teams, from Roma to SK Rapid, from Manchester United to Derry City. So in the Premier Division, we've been playing more of our second string players, because the first 11 have been battling it out in the Champions League qualifiers, but I'm pleased to say they've been doing a decent enough job. We've won 3, drawn 1, and we've got a 15-point gap to second place. Interesting to see the top scorer in the league is Matteo Pessina. He's our deep line playmaker. We also got confirmation we'd be allowed to study for the Continental Pro license, which should take around 12 months to complete. Transfer deadline day arrived and we actually made a big signing. 31-year-old Morten Thorsby is a real quality ball-winning midfielder with fantastic mental attributes. He's been on a tour around Europe for the past 12 years but has come back to Norway to be part of this exciting project at Molde. And in interesting news, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been hired as Lillestrøm manager. Lillestrøm are struggling just above the relegation zone, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see if he can turn around their fortunes. Solskjaer recently had spells in charge of Blackburn and West Brom. It's cup time again, as September saw us back in Norwegian Cup action. Bizarrely, we were drawn against Brumunddal. Why is that bizarre? Well, let's take a look at them. They're a second division side with several amateur players on their books. They've managed to avoid a Premier Division opposition until now, but they have beaten 3 First Division sides on their way to the semi. Let's hope they're not in a giant-killing mood, eh? Mr. Composure Matteo Pessina scored a penalty to put us ahead after 7 minutes, but disaster struck as Vigneault scored a great goal to level the tie. We need to put our foot on the gas now. We can't be beaten by a second division team. Thankfully, 1 minute later, Howell scored thanks to a Rome assist to restore our lead. Pettersson hit a floated cross, which Ferry did really well to leap up and head in for our third. Another Pessina penalty gave us our 4th off the tie, and another fantastic Ferry header made it 5. A nice assist from Howell for this one. Pessina then scored one from open play to seal his hat-trick and a 6-1 win for us, which means we're in the final. And despite a 2-1 loss to Hakesund, we actually managed to seal the title with 6 games to go. The board have given us some decent budgets for next season with 450k per week wage budget and 16.33 million transfer budget. So with the Premier Division in the bag, let's focus on the Champions League. We had a big game against AS Roma where they went ahead thanks to a penalty, but Ferry popped up in the 85th minute to equalise for a very respectable result in what was a fairly even game. We also won 2-0 against Romanian side FCSB, meaning we're off to a decent start in the Champions League. We sit in 10th place in the league phase on 4 points after 2 games. Into October now, and we've got a huge Champions League game against Manchester United. Hoyland scored after 19 minutes after being played in by Mainu. We responded with this well-taken goal from Howell. Mason Mount scored after we fell for the same old corner routine. Hoyland scored a headed effort after a cross from Fernandez, and I'm just now realising they've still got all the same players 4 years in the future here. After half-time, a Morrow cross found Rome, who hit a nice volley to pull one back. Howell then headed down for Morrow to apply the finish to make it 3-3. A Morrow free kick found the head of 6'4" centre-back Oivan to give us the lead. But they scored in injury time thanks to a goal from Halseth Naipan. I looked into this guy. He's a 20-year-old Norwegian player formerly of our rivals Rosenborg, so you can guarantee he enjoyed scoring that one. 4-4 it finished, and we were unlucky too. We actually had the higher XG in this game, and I've got to say, this particular Molde team must be one of the most exciting teams I've managed on FM. Back in the league, we won our league games with a 6-1 victory of reigning champions Bram being a particular highlight. In November, we had 2 Champions League games. The first one against FC Porto. They missed a penalty in the 18th minute thanks to a good save from our keeper. They did manage to go ahead after 39 minutes though, Namaso with a cheeky chip over the keeper as he came off his line. Howell forced an own goal from them in the 65th minute to level the game. Pettersson then played it to Howell, who scored the winner just 5 minutes later. I'd say this was a fair result. It did feel like we were the much better team on the night. And our next Champions League game was against Derry City. We went ahead thanks to this goal from Zeknini with the assist from Bjordal. Svensson then played a nice ball to Kitolano for our second just before half-time. Whelan showed excellent movement in the box to pull one back for them after half-time. And then Whelan basically just had to stand still for this one to bounce in off of him for them to equalise. A Pessina penalty then put us back ahead, but they scored in the 91st minute to finish the game 3-3. High-scoring draws seem to be very much our thing at the moment. And to be fair, we really should have won that game. We were by far the better team, but hey, that's just how FM24 is sometimes. Shifting focus back to the Premier Division for a moment, and we finished the league campaign with a record points haul of 82 points. We were a class above in this division and never looked like losing it. In the end of season awards, Bryce Wembangomo won the Fans Player of the Season, Loney centre-back Ned Ford won Young Player of the Season, goalkeeper Jasper Torkilton got Signing of the Season, while Luca Morrow got the most goals with 24, and Egbert Howell got most assists with a mighty 20. Up next, we've got the Norwegian Cup final against Sarpsborg. It was actually a really cagey game and it finished 0-0 after 90 minutes. We eventually scored in the first half of extra time, Morrow with the goal. 6'7" centre-back Ned Ford popped up with a header in the 121st minute to secure the cup for us, but the story of our season doesn't end there. Because Norway's football season runs from April to November, it means we're still going to have Champions League games in our off-season. So let's look ahead a bit now and see how we fare in the rest of our Champions League games. We drew 1-1 with SK Rapid. Wal Muller broke through well to get through on goal to put them ahead. Kitolano scored this goal in 55 minutes to put us level. We were lucky to draw 1-1 with Arsenal, with Howell scoring our goal after taking the initial corner here. And if we were lucky to draw with Arsenal, we were beyond lucky to nick a 2-2 draw with Barcelona. 2 early goals from Ferry were enough to secure a point for us in this fixture. All of which means we end the Champions League phase in 18th place, which doesn't sound great, but actually means we qualify for the knockout round, which is very unexpected, but very welcome. Our first knockout round actually saw us drawn against Man United again. It's actually not the worst draw because we actually took the game to them in the league phase, so let's see if we can get a result here. So the first leg was at home. Evgen crossed in for young winger Rome to head in to open the scoring. Pettersson then set up Morrow to double our lead. Morrow then headed on for Rome, who did well to finish to make it 3. Thorsby then played the ball across goal for left-back Pettersson to score for our 4th. A 4-0 lead in the first leg. We absolutely turned them over here. We started the second leg as we finished the first, with towering centre-back Oivan finding himself in a position to put this one away. Ferry then played a nice through ball to Morrow, who scored to make it 2. They did pull one back with Hoyland scoring late on, but we'd sealed it. A place in the round of 16. And would you believe it, we were drawn against Nicolas Odegaard's new team, PSG. If we look at the league phase here, PSG actually topped the league phase. It's going to be a big ask for us to get a result against them. If you're wondering how Odegaard's getting on over there, he's made 1 start with 9 sub appearances and scored 1 goal. So I'd say we're probably unlikely to see him. We got off to a dream start thanks to another Pessina penalty. An unlucky deflection meant an own goal from Rode Gregerson levelled the game. They got another thanks to this rocket of a shot. A sloppy pass from Berg Jonsson let Cole and Mwani in to get their third. The game finished 3-1, which I think flatters them. They had 3 shots on target and scored all 3. Our XG was higher, but as we know, games are not won on XG. So let's see how we get on in the second leg. And after 21 minutes, some guy called Mbappe scored for them. Later on, Wembangomo played it through for Ferry, who scored an equaliser, but it ended 1-1 on the night. They were the much better team in this game, and if anything, 1-1 flattered us in this one. But I'd say we can be more than proud of our efforts in Europe this season. So we'll leave that right there. It's a funny one with Molde, because we took them quite far into Europe this season. But I think there's a ceiling there. I don't think we're beating the likes of PSG. We may do another season at Molde now we finish remoulding them, but equally, if something good comes up when I start playing through the next season, we might end up moving to a new club. We'll see, I guess. So if you enjoyed that, please leave a like on the video to let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more of this type of thing. Say hello in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers!